For decades, we've looked out into space with the belief that the edge of our solar system is a quiet, empty place. A cold and silent frontier where the sun's influence simply fades into the vast background noise of the galaxy. But after more than 45 years in space, Voyager 1 is now revealing something completely unexpected. It hasn't found a planet, a star, or even a transmission from Earth. What it's detected is an anomaly, something unexplainable. It's not random either. It's organized, it repeats, and it's sending out a pattern that may be more than we're prepared to understand. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 was built to explore, to survive, and to carry our message to the cosmos. It passed Jupiter and Saturn, delivering images that forever changed how we see our place in the universe. Then it continued its journey outward. In 2012, it crossed the heliopause, the invisible boundary where the solar wind and magnetic field of our sun give way to interstellar space. Scientists expected this region to be calm, a gradual descent into stillness. But Voyager 1 found something else entirely. Instead of silence, it began detecting unusual magnetic disturbances, ripples in the cosmic field, patterns within the radiation. Over time, these disturbances have grown more intense, more structured. The heliopause, once thought of as a shield protecting us from the chaos of the galaxy, now appears to be something much more unsettling. It may not be a boundary at all, but a threshold, possibly even a battleground. Voyager 1 is now registering fluctuations in energy that simply shouldn't exist. These aren't just background signals. They're rhythmic, repeating, and disturbingly precise. Some of them even cause slight distortions in the spacecraft's data, like echoes rebounding off something we cannot see. There is growing speculation that Voyager 1 may not just be listening anymore. It might actually be heard, because what it's receiving isn't noise, it's a signal, and signals don't structure themselves by chance. That raises a deeper question. What if space isn't truly empty? What if our galaxy isn't just a random scatter of stars, but part of a vast interconnected system, a network of invisible currents threading through space like arteries through a living body? Some researchers believe Voyager 1 may have encountered such a current, an interstellar force that links star systems, transmits energy, and perhaps even carries intelligent signals. If that's true, then the heliopause may not be a mere physical boundary. It could be a kind of checkpoint where unknown forces monitor, filter, or even decide what passes through. And the most disturbing part? The signals Voyager 1 is now picking up form a pulse, one that follows a regular, structured rhythm far too orderly to dismiss as random. It isn't coming from the sun, it's coming from beyond. So what is it? A natural phenomenon we simply don't understand yet? Or something Voyager was never meant to hear, but now can't avoid? Some physicists are beginning to wonder whether the probe has tuned itself into a hidden frequency of the galaxy, like an old antenna that's finally locked onto a broadcast no one knew was playing. And if that's the case, we have to face the possibility that we are not the only ones listening, or that we are just now beginning to hear what's always been there. Voyager 1 systems are old, outdated, and never intended for this kind of detection. But engineers have recently discovered something strange buried deep in its telemetry. Among the background noise, they've identified low-frequency pulses that repeat in carefully timed intervals. When these signals are mapped out over time, an unsettling pattern becomes clear. They line up with Earth's position relative to the center of the galaxy. In other words, the signals aren't just consistent, they appear to be tracking us, or reacting to us. The reason why remains unknown. This has led some astrophysicists to challenge conventional theories entirely. They're beginning to entertain an idea that was once considered far too speculative, that the galaxy may include engineered zones, regions of space created or influenced by an intelligence far older than humanity. This is known as the architect hypothesis. Under this theory, space isn't a natural wilderness, but a partially constructed environment. In this context, Voyager 1's data, its gravitational anomalies, magnetic distortions, and pulsing signals, may be behaving exactly as predicted near an active, controlled system. If true, Voyager 1 may have brushed against the edge of an ancient mechanism, one that still functions billions of years after its creation. In doing so, we may have inadvertently knocked on a door we never knew existed, one that was perhaps never meant to be opened by us. When Voyager 1 was launched, it carried a symbolic message: the Golden Record, a carefully curated collection of music, voices, and sounds from Earth meant to introduce humanity to any intelligent life that might someday discover it. But what if that record wasn't just a message? What if it functions more like a beacon? Some scientists are beginning to consider that its electromagnetic signature, its materials, its spin, its frequencies, might allow it to be identified and tracked by advanced systems we don't yet understand. If Voyager has now entered such a system, the Golden Record may have triggered a response, not because we intended it to, but because something out there was designed to recognize it. We like to believe that Voyager still belongs to us, that it's a symbol of our ingenuity and our desire to explore. But perhaps that's no longer the case. Now, drifting more than 23 billion kilometers from Earth, it may have become part of something else. Another system, another design, one we didn't build and can't yet comprehend. Its signal is showing signs of modulation from an external source, alterations that can't be explained by onboard malfunctions. It's as if the spacecraft is no longer just transmitting data, but relaying something on behalf of another force, something outside its original purpose. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 1 has been humanity's envoy to the stars, a fragile machine carrying our voice into the great unknown. But now, at the farthest edge of what we thought was our domain, it seems to be whispering back. Not in random noise or static, but in patterns, pulses, and magnetic signals that are too consistent to be dismissed. Maybe Voyager was never just a scout. Maybe it was a signal, a probe, a test, or even a key. And perhaps, without meaning to, we've triggered a response. Whether this is the work of some unknown natural force or the trace of something constructed long before Earth even existed, we've made contact, not in the way science fiction imagined it, with greetings or messages, but with a presence, a pattern, an echo. We may not have discovered something out there. It may have discovered us. And if Voyager 1 has entered a region of space meant to listen, or worse, meant to watch, then our greatest revelation might not be what we've found, but the realization that something has already found us.